This is a Momentum Media production.
Welcome to the Lifestyle by Design show with your host, Ben Handler, showing everyday people how they can turn buying property into a career.
Well, hello, AP.
Hey.
Good to have you here, my man.
Good to be on, my friend. It's always good to catch up with you.
Absolutely. Hey, I thought we'd dive straight into, I keep forgetting that you used to be this crazy hip hop crump dancer. You on the scales, you were like 80 kilos, male model for Hoyt Cinemas. Let's talk a bit about that before we move in.
Oh man, you're taking it to the way back right now. There was a lot of stuff I used to get up to back in the day to pass time, have a bit of fun, be different from dancing to modeling back then. But I don't call it years before, I call it kilos before. So I definitely got to get back into shape to that level. But a lot of fun stuff. It was good fun.
Man, how did you get into that? The hip hop dancing, like, was that just a scene you were in or?
Well, I think growing up in New Zealand, I don't mean it with any disrespect, but there's not a lot you can do. I mean, once you kind of do a couple of the walks, you chill out a little bit, play some sports. There's not much on. So I think just passing time with friends, you get into stuff, and that's where it started. And then moving to Australia, it was a way to kind of connect with different communities. And the cool thing about moving anywhere around the world, if you're moving countries, you can always get a group of friends that knows another group of friends who are into that same thing in that other country. So it was a small world as a way for me to connect and have a good group of friends to start off with when I first moved to Australia.
Yeah, nice. I mean, I'm always pumped interviewing you. I think I started interviewing you in, 2019. And every time I interview you, you just keep pushing your buyer's agent business to a new level, dude. I love it. And so it seems like you're at that new level of growth and you're really tearing it apart. Your team's growing. I believe you're at 4 now, right?
We've got 6 of us now in total, and hoping to be at 8 by the end of the year based on a couple of people who are coming on. So yeah, it's exciting times.
Like, did you ever think it was going to get this big? Like, even when you left CBA and you were kind of looking to get going, like, did you envisage it to be where you are now?
I envision it to be bigger than where I am now. That's always been there, but I did not know how soon it would happen. The way to get there, the steps I'd have to take. So I always envisioned bigger, better things, envisioned, helping as many people as I could out, but the whole process and how fast it would take or long it would take has kind of just come up a little bit sooner than I anticipated.
Yeah. I mean, it does creep up on you, but I guess with anything, right, as you know, starting a business, I mean, it's super volatile, right, in terms of what gets thrown at you, like the challenges, like being an entrepreneur. I mean, I guess we're providing solutions every day, right? And then things just move in these weird, mysterious ways, don't you think, regarding the life cycle of the business?
Yeah, so I think from a business aspect, what I've come to learn is the niches that we want to place ourselves within, where we feel we stand out in comparison to others. What I feel I genuinely enjoy the most as well starts to create like little pathways, and that I wasn't expecting. When I first started the business, it was kind of just help as many people as you can, but then there wasn't any method to the madness. Now I feel like as time's gone on, processes have flowed together, learnings have come together, where I feel I really want to focus my energy, who I want to help, the types of people I want to be surrounded by. And I think that's the learning part of the business that's most fun, like developing your niche, developing where you can stand out and you have minimal competition because of your strengths in this area, and working towards your strength and not trying to learn absolutely everything and trying to be fully rounded, but working through your strengths where people know they can rely on you when it comes to that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're definitely carving out your niche. And I mean, we've worked a lot together. I mean, you're one of those people where you are super committed to learning, super committed to receiving constructive feedback and just evolving and just not staying stagnant like some of those entrepreneurs who think they know it all who get successful quickly. They just, stop growing. You've always, to me, been someone who's just, you've just had this, innate thing where you just want to keep learning. I mean, where does that come from?
I always used to, I'm just trying to recall the moment that I think that it came from. I would definitely firstly go back to my banking days. And there was a level of curiosity just because it was a whole new world to me, wanted to learn how it works, was actually genuinely fascinated about it, the impact you can make to people's lives and everything like that. So curiosity started from there. And just because it just never stopped, it's just always kept going. So I take this kind of curious approach to everything, whether it be inside business, outside of business. Then I would say it almost becomes a bit of an addiction, that learning piece. And so you in a good way, you feel like you're not energized unless you're learning something. And so I feel like I get bored, I get stagnant if I don't learn something new. So this is where I feel like I constantly shift the goalposts because something new gets exciting to me, something I want to learn. I want to take it to a new level while still maintaining certain quality standards. And so as a result, I feel that that's where the learning comes from for me, just that starting curiosity from my banking career. And it just never faded because I kept getting a new door open up for me. And I feel like surrounded by good leaders, good clients, good family, friends around me, like it just keeps opening up new doors. And as a result, I almost feel like you never stop learning.
It's unbelievable. Hey, before I forget, I nearly forgot it nearly last episode, is for anyone who has any interest in turning buying property into a career and learning about it further, I'm offering a scholarship program. There's 3 people each episode. So you can go to the SPI website, click on podcast, click on Lifestyle by Design. There's a form there. And if you select scholarship as the code, you can hopefully get in. Okay, so AP, let's just talk about your revenue, man, because talking about learning and curiosity and growth, you are clearly growing, right? Like a bit like a rocket ship. And I know we spoke earlier, and I mean, you're on a trajectory for this new FY to be going or getting around 2.5 mil plus, right?
Yeah, that sounds about right. So the last 3 to 4 years has been a big transformation every year. I think the beauty about the trajectory is that you don't know it's happening because you like what you're doing so much. That's the coolest thing. Like, I'm still rocking the same one of 16, t-shirts that are the same black shirt every single day, rocking my shorts, walking around, just in that mode because I just enjoy what I do so much. I don't realize how late I work. I don't realize what days I work. So I feel like because of that, this number that's growing, is growing as a result of this passion just being transformed with good people around you, like your team members who are just helping me scale and without realizing that I'm doing that much more. So it's caught me by surprise. Did I have targets to set as part of a business? Sure. But every year it seems to be outpacing that. And I hate to say it in terms of like coming across this way, but it's without effort when you love something so much. Like if from the outside world looking in, it probably can look like there's so much work. He works late hours. There's so much effort. There's, he's everywhere on marketing. He's everywhere here. He's doing all of this stuff. So it looks like I'm going at 1,000 miles an hour. Like, and everyone looks like it's so much effort. But the internal feeling is that it's not a huge amount of effort because I genuinely love what I do. So I think that's definitely been a secret sauce to the growth. If you just love what you do, you don't realize it's work.
Yeah, I admire what you say, and it's so true. And I think, for someone like you who is a property nerd, you're an investor yourself. You were an investor, you are an investor, especially before you became a buyer's agent. And I think it's a pretty linear trajectory. Like when you love property investing, you love the research like you do, to then turn it into a career, which you did, one would bet on it that you're going to enjoy it. And you're also getting paid for it, and you're helping other clients succeed outside of you. And it's true, right? Like you work long hours, but I guess one from the outside may think, wow, this dude's putting in so much effort, which you are. But man, it's like sleeping for you. You just love it. You're just smashing it.
It's a choice. It's 100% choice. Like, honestly, if I have days where I have no properties to buy or no clients to work on, I would still be working the same hours, just analyzing my business, understanding where markets are going. So the beauty about this model is there's only 5 areas where you focus your attention, right? Where's the market moving and which segments of the market? Where are clients coming on? You're buying for your clients, the service that you deliver through these different areas of the business. And then lastly, your team that you work with. So it's not rocket science.
It's not right.
But yet I can still keep myself working 12 hours plus a day because I just enjoy it. So I find that that's definitely been the driver for me, or the secret to success in this business model, just because I enjoy what I'm doing so much that whether I had no clients to buy for or many clients to buy for, I'm still going to be working the same hours because I just enjoy it.
Well, your client success path clearly demonstrates your results. And I know obviously about your business, but what I will say is like 75% of your clients have gone on, correct me if I'm wrong, by the way, have gone on to purchase 2 or more properties, like some of them 3, 4, 5, like 75% of your client base. Like that's huge, man.
Yeah. So one of the biggest things for sure has been around that service delivery and outcome delivery. So service being how they feel about working with us, from our genuine approach to areas, their own goals, to the actual flow of service, and then the delivery, which is what matters the most. Like, are you going to come back to the bank with a valuation that is higher as time goes on, that makes you feel like you can do this again? And just focusing on nothing but these two things has meant that the return repeat rate has been massive. And if there's anything that I say I'm most blessed about in the business, it's that the repeat rate of our clients within the business has been the game changer for us. What makes me realize the power of this is if I go back to before April and after April. So before April, Ben, I was conducting consultations for new clients as they came through the process of being an InvestorKit client. April onwards, I haven't conducted any consultations. They all go through our team. Our team conducts the first consultations. Then if working with us, the client then works with myself. And so this has meant, the new clients coming on technically should have nothing to do with me because they should be going through the flow of service in our team. Yet close to half our clients coming on each month are coming on without any consultations, which means there's only one way they're coming on. They've had a phenomenal result. They're just calling me up and going, Arjun, let's do this thing again. So to know that, you can have now into September, call it 6 months of no consultations conducted by myself for first-time clients coming to see us. And I can still month on month look after clients at the same rate as I was last financial year without any new consultations. That's something I'm super blessed about, because that means that what clients have received and what they felt they got out of the outcome as well as the service delivery is helping them go, Arjun, don't need to chat again. Let's just get it going. I'm ready to go. So that's for sure been the biggest changer. And close to 3/4 of our clients have already come back to us.
Yeah. And I mean, I also do know that, half of your clients own 3 or more properties, and that's sitting in like the top 10% of investors in Australia. I mean, to have a business that's focused on such, high growth of portfolio building, like it must feel pretty rewarding, man.
I think if I look at my own journey, and I told myself when starting this business, I'm going to buy properties like I'm buying them for myself. And I wish that there's one day a level of success that, I can have in this business where if anyone feels uneasy about a particular property, I want to be able to go and say, I'll buy that if you don't. Do you know what I mean? Because that's how much I back my product. That's how much I back what our team presents, the due diligence that we do. And so with that whole, multiple clients, more than half of our clients now having 3+ properties. Yeah, as per ATO guidelines, that puts them in the top 10% of property investors in the country. But the main thing is that, again, coming back to that not rocket science piece, I'm just going, I applied this in my portfolio where we're going to find a fundamental of well-placed capital growth, pretty healthy rental yields and returns, properties that rent very quickly and don't rip an arm and a leg off you in maintenance and cost to hold. That is a proven formula where if you can get that right and across multiple locations, so you're diversifying the portfolio, you should be able to repeat again and again. Now, there's obviously limits between each and every person as to how far that repeat line goes based on finance, borrowing, and so forth. But to know that that strategy has been applied in my portfolio and I'm simply applying it to multiple other clients and they're following through means that A, the process and strategy works, but B, the properties that are being delivered to them work for them to take out that equity and do it so soon. And C, there's a belief from that client, a trust in our service and proof of delivery for them to repeat. So those two things that you mentioned around the repeat rate of our clients and the number of people owning multiple properties is what I take most pride in, because that now means that there are genuine lives changed for families and there's a genuine reputation built in our business to be able to help people achieve income building and asset building.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And that's why you're growing like crazy. And that's why you're going to hit 2.5 mil plus for this FY, because, these are metrics that you focus on, that you care about, and that you're, passionate on fulfilling for clients. And so I guess I've got a question for you, right? There's so many people out there who are investors listening to this, right? Who are looking to build passive income, right? So hopefully they can one day retire or whatever their goal is. But for me, and I want to get your feedback on this, like whenever I started out, or when I did start out being a buyer's agent, I always thought, well, in addition to potentially earning passive income, right? Like you can buy property for other people, get paid for it, and use that income to either grow your own portfolio, which I'm sure you've done, right? Or use that to invest in, I guess, other business ventures or whatever you want to do with it. I mean, what's your feedback since becoming a buyer's agent, building the business that you've built, having access to this surplus income that you've got now? Like, how do you think that compares to just building a portfolio for yourself with some passive income?
Yeah, so I think firstly, the passion allows me to kind of feel that it's not work, and that's the beauty about it. So that's where the starting building blocks are. And then, like you said, getting paid for what we do, just like any other business, we're solving a pain point or multiple pain points in the customer's life, right? And we're then, as a result, being rewarded for it. What I feel it's helped me do even more is, again, fast track where I want to go from an investing perspective, but even just stay more tight in terms of what I love doing. So rather than, going to do job B to come back and invest and talk and enjoy about job A, which is the property side of it, it's all intertwined for me. So I think that's the biggest piece that you get as an investor, where you can have this business, actually just be hobby, work, growth, investing all in one. But yeah, no doubt. I mean, the growth of the business does astronomically change your borrowing circumstances, your ability to build buffers, ability to save. But I think the thing I feel most, excited about is that I can channel all that back to what I'm teaching others and to show them that, again, I'm going down the same path you are. Yes, there might be some acceleration in my journey as a business owner who's growing in this pace, and that's now much faster. Maybe instead of achieving what I want to in 15 years, it happens in 5 years. Like, yes, I do have that benefit there. But at the same time, there are many other clients of ours who are also business owners who go down the path of using their business into property too. So I feel like it's just this constant growth journey with clients, and it's definitely been accelerated as a result of the business. But it just means more opportunities for me to, again, back what I do for others, and just do it more aggressively.
Yeah. And you hit the nail on the head. Like, you're channeling your knowledge and the leverage of what you're learning with your skill set. Ultimately, you're giving it to your clients. And what I found when, I don't know what your experience is like, but when I became a buyer's agent, you just become so much more sharper at buying. Like, a lot of these buyers out there, potentially your clients, even people listening now, they think they know what they're doing. Like, a lot of the time they think they might be getting a good deal. They think they're finding the right asset because it might be on real estate or domain, or they think they might be asking the right questions to get an off market, because the off market word gets thrown around all the time, off market. But a lot of the time they aren't operating at the level of how a buyer's agent operates. And especially someone like you who's buying, sometimes 20 deals a month. Like, the standard buyer might buy one property a year, 2 properties a year, maybe, if lucky. But someone like you who's potentially, smashing 20 a month or whatever that number is, you're going to learn a lot more. You're going to build better relationships with agents. They're going to want to deal with you more. So you just become, I guess, so much more astute to buying property. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so practice makes perfect at anything, right? I mean, I'm a huge basketball guy. If I'm going to get a whole day to shoot hoops every single day from morning to evening, I'm more than likely going to be better than you at shooting hoops, right? So I think that's the kind of story here as well. Like I'm going to be better than you at buying property. I'm going to be better than you at analyzing a market. I'm going to be better than you at building relationships with agents. It's not to have a sense of confidence. It's a fact, truth. Like if you put anyone on anything and have it all day and just say, this is your thing, right? So the benefit there is multiple levels. Like firstly, on a personal front, I am able to enhance my own personal buying journey as a property investor from what I learn. From a client's position, every single day that goes by is a client who's likely to get a better result as a result of working with us because we just rack up more time and more experiences. And then the last piece is for those who aren't on the journey using buyer's agents, it's okay. I'm not saying that you can't do it, but you have to know who you're up against now. And this is where it makes things challenging, right? So Daniel and my team has the most dream job. Daniel and my team is paid to look at real estate and domain all day. So you're taking your lunch break, you're taking your coffee break, you're taking after work when family's probably nagging you for some time, your husband or your wife is nagging you for some time, maybe your kids, dinner's about to get ready, then it's bedtime, you're having these little milestones. Daniel's a workhorse checking every single property from Monday to Friday on all platforms. And then AJ's a workhorse in checking all things on off markets. And they're quality controlling like you've never seen. You might take half an hour to see if something fits a flood, bushfire, main road, power stations, high crime, public housing. We're checking these like with links open everywhere, practice on them. So the advantage is that it makes it difficult for those not using the service as well, right? So, I mean, this is where I feel like the final piece to the puzzle is that comparative market analysis. The amount of stories I hear from buyers who are going through the journey and like unable to buy for months on end, like, look, that's not a problem that only they face. Even buyer's agent faces it. Like, we're not here to overpay on every property and win every property. But the speed in which and the frameworks we apply to have a greater chance of nailing the pricing of this asset, whilst home buyers are constantly going to an open home and being underlisted or underquoted and missing out. These are things that when customers come into our ecosystem, they're paying for, right? The ability for you to look at this listing of 450 to 500K and see where in that range you need to be. Whereas I always knew that this agent has a habit of underlisting. I know that previous sales are 520 to 550, and I know that the market's moving in a certain way. We're coming in cleaning up this asset, and we're still achieving capital growth. No, it did not sell for a crazy amount. It sold for what it's worth. You're just missing out the what it's worth piece. So I feel like that's the part I feel very, I feel very satisfied about, because I can help people take all this experience that we're building and enhance their lives. And now a person who's sitting there and going, I'll let you guys take care of it. I know I'm in good hands.
Yeah. And that's what you're spot on. Like people are paying for all the grit and hard work that you and your team put in, day out to do what you need to do to get good outcomes for your clients. Clients are then leveraging that. And you're right. Standard buyers need to know what they're up against. And what they're up against is this. Let me give a quick example. Someone on here right now might be listening to this, might be looking to buy a property, let's say this Friday. They speak to the agent, and the agent's dealing with you, Arjun, or this buyer. And they're thinking, Arjun's just, he's buying so much through me, and he's putting properties maybe into my rent roll or whatever's going on, right? They've got this existing relationship. There's a high chance that if you're at a same price point, it's going to you. It's not going to the other buyer. And that's how the nature of this business works. And so a lot of buyers do need to be aware of what they're up against. And I don't think a lot of them are very conscious of it, which is why, moving to my next point, and I'm still quite shocked about this, right? And I was looking at the numbers the other day, last Thursday, because you have to do a head count because there's no data on the amount of buyers agents. Like, there's still like less than 2,000 operational buyers agents. And to me, it's like such a blue ocean still, but it's also confusing because I'm thinking, like, if you look at the psychology behind it, right? Even though we're going through such a crazy market where we are right now in Australia, there's so many buyers that just don't think they need help. Yet they're looking for 6 months and they think it's normal. And they are just, in my opinion, like they're just very unaware that they really do need an expert to help them get to this outcome. Like, why do you think still to this day that so many buyers just think they can nail this on their own?
I would say, firstly, it has to do with how property is performed in Australia. That's definitely a piece where, because you've heard the mum and dad did it without the help and where's their house worth now, it feels kind of like, if they can do it, why can't I? And look, I mean, if you feel like you can, go for it, by all means. But the main thing is that, in my opinion, how things have performed today. The other thing is, the cost for services isn't cheap, and it's important for people to know that. But the key thing is, like you said, this is one of our biggest transactions as well in life. And so that cost of service to the benefit analysis of getting the decision right, having an expert on your side, opportunity cost of the time lost is so much outweighing that I feel that once people get to better understand it, that's when, they go for it. But the last piece as well is that I often find it's a change that happens in people's minds, but it usually happens after some bumps and bruises, meaning they've gone through the journey, they found it difficult, or they've gone through the journey and been unsuccessful in buying. That's where I feel that a lot of people are starting to wake up and realize the importance of where a buyer's agent can come in. But I think more than anything right now, a trend that's starting to emerge is the buyer's agent, like our business, that helps people scale a portfolio. And I'm starting to see now people realizing that it used to be just about, do I get a property? Do I use a buyer's agent for this property? But now clients are more often starting to see us as this isn't just a property thing anymore. I'm here to build a portfolio. So I feel like, yes, there's still the overall challenge for people to use in terms of this, let's use a buyer's agent. And that's a decision which I think will get more and more comfortable as time goes on. The success stories they hear, their friend that they spoke to or their colleague that they spoke to who did not use all their weekends looking at real estate, did not try and analyze the market when it's not their full-time job to analyze real estate markets. So I feel that word is spreading most definitely. But I think an interesting thing that's coming out now of what I'm coming to learn is that more and more clients are coming to us for the focus of a portfolio scaling rather than an individual property. So I think buyers agents are also getting more diverse now with what they can do.
It's a good point. And I think you raised some good points around why the uptake of more buyers agents, also, I guess, people engaging them, why it hasn't come to fruition. But I think looking at cost, just to talk on that, you wake up in the morning, you need to sell a property. You're typically thinking, which agents am I going to call in? Listing agents, selling agents, right? And you're typically paying them 2%, sometimes 2.5% in Queensland. It's obviously coming out, if you've done well on the property and there's equity, it's not coming out of technically it's coming out of your back pocket, but it's not just coming out of your bank account right away. It's coming out on settlement. But it's just weird to think that people on the sell side, vendors, they're okay to pay 2%, but on the buy side, when they're buying a property, a lot of these people haven't bought more than 2 properties, 3. Some have never bought before. They're not willing to put some money aside to help someone, or to get someone to help them, achieve that. It's just a bit psychologically. I've always thought about it. Like when I started Cohen Handler in 2009, I was thinking about it then. I just couldn't, haven't been able to quite grasp like why it hasn't moved quicker.
Yeah, I think the pain that people don't realize they have is a big part of the reason as well. Like they tend to realize it as they go through the journey. Whereas on the selling side, people don't go, I'll try and sell my property first by myself, and then I might go to an agent. Whereas people right now are still in that phase of, I'm going to go and try and figure this out and buy it by myself. And that's the part where people then come back to us buyers agents and go, hey, okay, I've had enough of that. I need help. But what I'm starting to see is that, that is changing. And I think it's definitely a good thing to see that changing. More and more people from diverse backgrounds, diverse income levels and where they are in their portfolio are starting to reach out to us a lot more than they were in the past. I often found the most common person reaching out to us was, got a couple of properties. I know how hard it is to do this and I want to scale it to multiple. But now we're also starting to see a whole bunch of first-time investors starting to come in and go, I've heard what you can do for people from a portfolio scaling perspective. I don't want to have to get my first move wrong and start to do that better. But yeah, like you said, there's still a huge amount of opportunity there for consumers to realize that you don't have to go and try and figure this all out yourself. There's people who do this 150 to 200 times a year like we do. We can help, right? And we can make this decision much more impactful.
Yeah, much more smooth, efficient. And I guess getting back to the career aspect of this, I mean, you've been around in this industry for a period of time, so you would see what's going on. I mean, and this career is transformational, hey? Like a lot of people, it's very blue ocean. And I still think a lot of people don't quite conceptualize around how this can radically change your life. Even if you know someone like you who's working in banking and you were very successful in your role, like you were very successful in your corporate, environment platform that you were in. But also, I think there's this whole mindset that I think once you're an employee, it's sometimes hard to break through, right? Like you'd obviously made that mental decision, right? Like you decided that you were getting out of banking and you were doing something new, right?
Yeah. So my story was a little different. And I was fortunate to have been on that, passionate property investor journey even prior buyer's agency. And the combination of using a buyer's agent in the past, seeing what worked well, seeing what didn't work well, having multiple properties and realizing that at work, I was often talking about it every day with someone anyway. So that's just, again, how much I loved it. Combining that with the passive income that was flowing from it, as well as what my wife was doing, I took some time off work and I just took some time away and quit the work, quit my job and said, hey, look, I'm just going to figure things out. It was that figure out phase that made me realize that I definitely wanted to do buyer's agency. And at first, it was just a matter of me helping people. And then what's later transformed into a business that's, fully fledged and supporting in different ways. I think the benefit of the transformation in my life that you talked about, the biggest part has been not just the buyer's agency business and doing that, but using the strengths of the business to be able to put me in a position where I do my most favorite things for clients for property, right? So there are many parts of this business, from HR to supporting clients, to buying for clients, to sourcing clients, to research. There's so many avenues that you have to have a person who wears many hats. But as you said, once you grow and once you transform the business to suit the lifestyle you want to live and how you want to support customers, I realized that my three favorite things were research and strategy. So actually the scaling piece of helping someone realize that, hold on, this isn't just a property that we're going to hold on to for 40 years and then feel good about it when you're super old. We're going to focus on the mix of things, from how do we scale it to then the markets that we research and enter to, the actual buying piece and scoring a deal. And so these sorts of things are what excited me most. And so I built my team in a way which helped transform my life to go, I'm going to do nothing but sit back and research, solve my clients, portfolio journeys, and actually just go and do the buy. And enabling a team around me has meant that people can search for all the properties and present it to me, and I decide on yes or no for our clients. My research analyst, Jung, is phenomenal. I can ask her all the questions in my mind, so I can still behave like a researcher in terms of the hypothesis I want to test, the direction and analyzing a market, where it's at. But I'm not scrolling through 100 spreadsheets to figure out and slow myself down. My team member can do that, and we can just talk about the outcome of the research and I can interpret it. So this is awesome. Now I can just ask like Google 1,000 things, but it's my team member, sifting through all the research and data. My team is helping me with the small administrative parts to the journey of ordering the pest and building report, the insurance quotes where customers need help with stuff. So the beauty about this business is you can transform it to the areas of this business and what you like doing most. And that's what I've done. I've just been able to make sure that my team supports me with those things so I can be working with the client on the most crucial decision-making aspects, which I enjoy the most. So yeah, most definitely transformed my life, Ben, with regards to how I work and what I enjoy doing. And I can just do a whole bunch of more of what I enjoy doing.
Yeah. And that's the art of business. It's the art of management. They say Management is getting things done through other people. And I think when you're running a business like you are and it's growing, you're fortunate now to be in a position where you focus on your strengths and the daily activities that you want to focus on. And that to me is the beautiful part of business. That to me is really a really incredible part of being a business owner, versus being an employee, where you've got this flexibility to make choices and to really focus heavily on your key strengths. And you know what? Like, I feel like as we evolve as humans, sometimes things change, and what might be a strength today, we might find it, what is a weakness down the track, maybe turn into a strength. And so we keep having these opportunities to keep doing things and focusing on what we love, which I think is absolutely remarkable. Well, man, I think we're going to wrap it up. Okay. And so just a reminder for anyone who, may want to consider turning buying property into a career. If you want to get into the scholarship program, there's 3 spots. And so just click at the top, podcasts, smart property investment. Then there's a short form you can fill out. So this was episode 2 with Arjun Paliwal from InvestorKit. Dude, it's been super awesome just speaking with you. Every time I say, as I said earlier, that I interview you, you just keep taking it to a new level, like serving your clients, more importantly, to a new level. So it's been super cool to dive in with you. If anyone wants to learn more about what I do to help people, like I did with Arjun, grow remarkable property buyers agent businesses, you can also visit www.buyers.agentinstitute.com.au. Okay. Arjun, thank you.
Thank you, Ben.